Hello and namaskar. I am Santosh Subedi. I am teaching at Prakash Secondary School, Benimagdi. Today I am going to discuss within this short video about a beautiful poem. All the World is a Stage, written by William Shakespeare. As we all know that William Shakespeare has written this poem, All the World is a Stage. For your kind information, he was an English poet, one of the greatest dramatists and actor of Renaissance era. He is widely regarded as the greatest writer in English language and the world's greatest dramatist. Before starting the slides, I'd like to say something about this poem, the main theme of the poem. The theme of this poem is that person is the ultimate loser in the game of life. A person makes an entry in this worldly stage and performs different roles in his lifetime. Finally, he or she leaves this worldly stage struggling in different circumstances. He or she comes empty-handed here and leaves this stage empty-handed. He brings nothing and takes nothing. In other words, Shakespeare has compared life with a stage. विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरू, यो कवितामा अङ्ग्रेजी साहित्यका बिर्सनै नसकिने नाम विलियम शेक्सपियरले मानिसलाई अर्थात् मानिसको जन्मदेखि मृत्युसम्म जुन जुन चरणहरू उसले पार गर्छ त्यसलाई एउटा स्टेजमा परफर्म गरेको रूपमा वर्णन गरेका छन्। जब मानिस जन्मन्छ यो विश्वको एउटा रङ्गमञ्चमा र विभिन्न रोलहरू आफ्नो जीवन कालमा प्रस्तुत गरेको हुन्छ। अन्तमा उसले यो विश्वलाई अथवा यो ब्रह्माण्डलाई छोडेर जान्छ, सङ्घर्ष गर्दा गर्दै विभिन्न परिस्थितिहरूको सामना गर्दा गर्दै अन्तमा उसले जीवनको अन्त्य गर्छ र उसको जीवनको नाटक पनि के हुन्छ त अन्त्य हुन्छ भनेर भन्न खोजेको छ। भाइ बहिनीहरू, मानिस जन्मिदा खाली हात जन्मिएको हुन्छ र मरेर जाँदा पनि खाली हात नै जान्छ। केही पनि ल्याएको हुँदैन, जन्मिदा नृत्य आएको हुन्छ र जाँदा पनि त्यही रूपमा नै केही नलगिकन उसले आफ्नो जीवनमा विभिन्न सङ्घर्ष गर्दै गर्दा आर्जन गरेका सबै प्रकारका ख्यातिहरू बाँकी छोड्छ। धन सम्पत्ति सबै कुरा छोडेर चाहिँ जानुपर्छ भनेर भनिएको छ। लेट्स गो विथ द स्लाइड। र मैले एउटा अनुरोध के गर्छु भने विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई यो भिडियो हेर्दै गर्दा महत्त्वपूर्ण लागेका कुराहरू टिप्पण गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। तपाईहरुले डाउनलोड गरेर परीक्षाको दृष्टिकोणबाट तयारी गर्नको लागि पनि यो सामग्री महत्त्वपूर्ण हुनेछ भन्ने मैले आशा लिएको छु। All the World is a Stage is written by William Shakespeare. Here you can see the picture of William Shakespeare too. This is about the poet which is given in your textbook too. William Shakespeare was born in 1564 and died in 1660. Was an English poet, dramatist, and actor of the Renaissance era. He is widely regarded as the greatest writer in English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is one of the prominent figures in English literature. His most famous works include Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, and so many. This poem is taken from William Shakespeare's play As You Like It. With these words, all the world is a stage, begins the monologue by the character who played the role in As You Like It. Melancholy, jacks in 8 seconds since 6th of the play. This is the monologue used by him. In this poem, Shakespeare has compared life with a stage. The 7 stages of a person's life are infant, school-going, a lover or a husband, soldier or fighter, justice, ability to understand the right and wrong, pantalon, or we may say greetings in high in status, and world age. These are the stages which every man can have to cross, which can come into your mind when you go through this poem with the theme that a person is the ultimate loser in the game of life. Let's talk about the summary of the poem. The poet compares the world to a stage in a theater, and men and women to the actors. Every actor has his or her exit and entrance. Similarly, a person enters the world when he is born and leaves it when he dies. His life, he plays 7 different roles based on his age. अगाडि भने जस्तै यहाँ के भन्न खोजिएको छ त भन्दा कविले एउटा नाटक घरको थिएटर भनिएको छ। यो विश्वलाई उनले नाटक घरको रूपमा अथवा रङ्गमञ्चको रूपमा तुलना गरेका छन् र हरेक मानिसले आफ्नो भूमिका निर्वाह गरेको हुन्छ। इट मिन्स हरेक मानिसहरू चाहिँ एज अ क्यारेक्टर अर एक्टरको रूपमा उनले देखाउन खोजेका छन्। आफ्नो विभिन्न प्रकारको रोलहरू प्ले गर्दै उसको जीवन अन्त्य हुन्छ भन्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ यहाँ देखाइएको छ। विशेष गरी 7 वटा स्टेजहरू हामीले अगाडि भन्यौं र पछाडि पनि यसको एनालाइसिस गर्दै गर्दै हामीले आउँछौं। द फर्स्ट रोल अफ द ड्रामा अफ ह्युमन लाइफ इज इन्फेन्सी। शिशु शैशव अवस्थाबाट सुरु हुन्छ। इन दिस एक्ट अ चाइल्ड कम्प्लिटली डिपेन्ड्स अन अ नर्स। He cries and vomits in the nurse's arms. And in the second act, he emerges as a school boy or school children. In this role, he complains all the time. His face shines like fresh morning. He carries his school bag and unwillingly goes to school as slowly as a snail. The third role is of a lover, or we may say husband or wife. The lover's sighs like a furnace and composes serious poems to praise the beauty of his beloved. The fourth role is played as a soldier. The soldier sweats oaths and has a breath like a leopard. He is quick in battle. He looks for reputation even at the risk of his life. यो जिम्मेवारीपूर्ण उमेरलाई यहाँ देखाइएको छ एउटा सैनिकको रूपमा तुलना गरेर। He is not afraid of death while fighting for reputation. However, his reputation is momentary and hollow like a bubble. The fifth role is of a judge. यहाँ न्यायाधीशको रूपमा निर्णयकर्ताको रूपमा उसको भूमिका रहन्छ भनिएको छ। He has a fair round belly. He is fat from eating chicken. Firmness and maturity are reflected in his eyes. He has a well-shaped beard and looks relaxed. He uses many sayings and modern examples to support his arguments of wisdom. समाजमा सामाजिक जिम्मेवारीहरू वहन गर्दै गर्दा सामाजिक सकारात्मक परिवर्तनको निम्ति उसले निर्वाह गर्ने भूमिकालाई यहाँ एउटा न्यायाधीशको रूपमा प्रस्तुत गरिएको छ। The sixth act takes a person to his old age. वृद्धावस्थाको कुराहरू आयो। He becomes weak and thin. मानिस चाहिँ कमजोर हुन्छ। He puts on slippers, spectacles and trousers of his youth which do not fit his shrunk and thin legs. उसको आफ्नो पहिरनहरू पनि असुहाउँदा नसुहाउने खालका देखिन्छन्, उसको शरीरसँग नमिल्दो देखिन्छ। He keeps pause with him, his manly voice turns into the childish treble. He pipes and whistles. The final role for which a person is responsible is second childhood. अन्तिम अवस्था मृत्यु हुनुभन्दा अगाडिको अवस्था. During this age, the person becomes very old and behaves like a child. फेरि बचपना जस्तै क्रियाकलापहरू चाहिँ उसले दोहोऱ्याउन सुरु गर्छ. It is the stage of nothingness. केही पनि नभएको. He loses all his sense and quits this world. उसले आफ्नो सेन्स पनि गुमाउँछ र अन्तमा चाहिँ के गर्छ त भन्दा यो पृथ्वीबाट अथवा ब्रह्माण्डबाट ऊ अन्त्य भएर जान्छ. यसको प्याराफ्रेजिङ गर्दा इन अल द वर्ल्ड इज अ स्टेज शेक्सपियर डिस्कसेस द futility of humanity's place in the world. He explores theme of time, aging, memory, and the purposes of life. Shakespeare takes the reader through the stages of life, starting with infancy and childhood and ending up with an old man who has been a lover, soldier, and a judge. अर्थात् मानिस चाहिँ जन्मिएर शैशवावस्थाबाट मृत्युशय्यामा रहनु अगाडिका विभिन्न चरणहरू. The man dies after reverting back to a state that is close to childhood and infancy. In other words, we can say that Shakespeare has composed life with a stage. The 7 stages of a person's life are infant, school-going children, lover or husband, familial responsibility आउँछ यसमा, soldier, fighter, social and other responsibilities towards his nation, justice, ability to understand the right and wrong. यो रिटायर लाइफ हामीले भन्ने गर्छौं. मान्छे समाज सेवामा इन्भल्भ हुन्छ, राम्रो नराम्रो छुट्याउने, अर्थी उपदेश दिने स्टेजमा चाहिँ पुग्छ, आफ्नो अनुभवहरू शेयर गर्ने. अनि greediness and high in status and world age, which can come into your mind when you go through this point. ल हेर्नुस् अब 7वटा स्टेजहरू: an infant crying, a complaining school boy, a lover, or we may say family time, a bearded soldier, social and other responsibilities, a wise justice, and world man in second childhood, or the time just before the death. यसमा तस्बिरबाट देखाउने प्रयास गरिएको छ स्टेज 1, स्टेज 2, स्टेज 3, स्टेज 4, स्टेज 5, 6 and 7 भनेर. यो तस्बिरबाट विलियम शेक्सपियरले यो कविता मार्फत बुझाउन खोजेको कुराहरू चाहिँ हामी छर्लङ्ग हुन सक्छौं. फर्स्ट स्टेजमा चाइल्डहुड छ, इन्फेन्सी भनियो. सेकेन्ड स्टेज, थर्ड स्टेज स्कुल गोइङ, द स्टेज 4 सोलिडर भनेर कम्पेयर गरिएको छ. स्टेज 5 एज जस्टिस, स्टेज 6 इन वर्ल्ड एज, इन द लास्ट स्टेज. Text based question answers. Here I am going to discuss about the questions which are given in your textbook too. First, understanding the text. Answer the following questions. Why does the poet compare the world with a stage? The poet compares the world with a stage because he believed that all men and women behave like the actors. हामीले अगाडि नै भनेका थियौं. What is the first stage in human's life? In what sense can it be a troubling stage? The answer of this question is the first stage of human's life is childhood. It can be a troubling stage as a child cries and vomits in the nurse's arm. Describe the second stage of life based on the poem. According to the poem, the second stage of life is school-going children. Normally, the school children complains all the time. Their face is like shining morning. They carry their bag and reluctantly go to school as slowly as a snail. स्क्रिनशट गर्नुहोस् विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरू, तपाईलाई काम लाग्छ अफलाइन पढ्न। Why is the last stage? लास्ट स्टेज भनेको बुझ्नु भएको छ, कल्ड सेकेन्ड चाइल्डहुड। किन अन्तिम अवस्थालाई चाहिँ दोस्रो बचपना भनेर भनिएको छ? The last stage is called second childhood because each and everybody loses all their senses and behaves like a child. So it is called second childhood. In what sense are we the players in the world stage? कुन अर्थमा हामी चाहिँ यो विश्वको रङ्गमञ्चमा हामी एउटा क्यारेक्टर अथवा रोल प्ले गरिरहेका छौं त, पात्रहरू हौ त? We are the players in the world stage as we appear on the world stage when we get birth and leave it when we die, like the actors do on the stage in a theater. नाटक घरमा रङ्गमञ्चमा पनि पात्रहरू चाहिँ प्रवेश गर्छन्, आफ्नो चाहिँ भूमिका अभिनय गरिसकेपछि उनीहरू चाहिँ के गर्छन् त, निस्केर जान्छन्। त्यही तरिकाले चाहिँ हामी जन्मन्छौं र मर्छौं। जन्म र मृत्युलाई उनले अपियरेन्स एन्ड एक्जिस्टेन्स इन द वर्ल्ड स्टेज भनेर प्रश्न पार्न खोजेको छ। And the last question, the last stage is called second childhood because he loses all his senses and behaves like a children. In what sense are we the players? यो अगाडि आइसकेको छ, विद्यार्थी भाइबहिनीहरु दोहोरेर आएको छ। Reference to the context. Explain the following lines भनेर यो टाइप्सको प्रश्न पनि आउन सक्छ तपाईहरुलाई 20 अंकको यो पार्ट्सबाट लिटरेरी स्टडी अर्थात सेकेन्ड पार्ट भनेर तपाईहरुको टेक्स्ट बुकमा दिएको छ, त्योबाट 20 अंकको परीक्षामा प्रश्न सोध्छ। 5x2 अर्थात चाहिँ 5 वटा सर्ट आन्सर क्वेशन्स 2 अंकको र अर्को 2 वटा 5 अंकको प्रश्न सोधिन्छ। यो हालको हामीले नेपालीमा भावार्थ प्रश्न पार्ने टाइप्सको क्वेशन। In the given lines, the poet asserts that life is like a stage. All the men and women are believed to be actors who act in a drama of life. In a drama, every actor enters the stage and acts his part. In the same way, every person plays different roles throughout his or her life as the actors do on the stage. They have their exits and their entrances. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. The given lines are taken from the poem All the World is a Stage, composed by William Shakespeare. These lines express similarity between the roles the actors play on the stage and humans in their lives. In a drama, every actor enters the stage, acts his role, and then exits. In a similar way, we enter the world stage when we are born and leave it at the time of death. Like the actors in a drama, we are assigned various roles to be performed. In a person's life, there are 7 stages with different characters. When we get our roles completed, we quit the stage of our life. The poet wants us to realize the fact that human life is like the stage of a theater. A man is fated to act several roles in his life. Screenshot गर्नु भएको छ होला। Simile and metaphor are the two major poetic devices used in this poem. Explain citing example of each. यसमा सिमिले र मेटाफोर चाहिँ पोएटिक डिभाइसको रूपमा प्रयोग भएको छ। त्यसलाई चाहिँ उदाहरण सहित प्रश्न पार्नुस् भनेर यहाँ सोधिएको छ। Shakespeare makes use of the first two metaphors in the line, all the world is a stage, all the men and women merely players. He compares the world to a stage in a theater and all the men and women to actors who performed on the stage. The third metaphor is used when reputation is compared to bubble to show that reputation is momentary. Another metaphor is created to equate manly voice to childish travel. The final metaphor is found in the line that ends this strange, eventful history. Human life is compared to the strange, eventful history as human life is full of events and incidents and early memories. The first simile, the first simile is used when a schoolboy is compared to a snail. He unwillingly walks to school as slow as a snail. The figure of speech continues to compare the lover singing to the furnace. The heat of the furnace is similar to the passion felt by the lover. By using simile, a soldier is likened to a leopard. This reveals that the soldier is quick, prompt, and fast as the leopard. चितुवा जस्तै पावरफुल हुन्छ, एकदमै छिटो छरितो हुन्छ सोल्जर भनेर देखाउन खोजिएको छ. Which style does the poet use to express his emotions about how he thinks that the world is a stage and all the people living in it are mere players? The poem is written in blank verse with regular metrical but unrhymed lines. Regular metric चाहिँ छ तर rhyme चाहिँ मिलेको छैन भन्न खोजे. The style of the poem is narrative. वर्णनात्मक छ. The narrator recounts the story of life. He compares human life to a stage and all the people to actors. One man in his time plays several roles. सातवटा रोल यहाँ देखाइएको छ. In a drama, every actor enters the stage, acts his role, and then exits. In a similar way, in real life, entrances and exits refer to births and deaths of people. People appear on the stage when they get birth, play their respective roles, and leave the stage when they die. A person in his entire life has to complete 7 stages, according to the poem and poet. What is the theme? Is I have already mentioned the theme. The theme of the poem is the cycle of human life. A person is designated to play 7 different roles throughout his life. For everyone, birth is entrance and death is exit. Each role has its own qualities and features. The poem reveals how a person begins his life as an infant and ends up in the same way without being aware of what is happening with him. He is the ultimate loser in the game of life. In this way, we can analyze this poem. मलाई आशा छ विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरु यो भिडियो अन्तिमसम्म हेर्नुहुन्छ. लाइक्स कमेन्ट सँगसँगै मेरो च्यानल सब्स्क्राइब गर्न पनि भुल्नु हुने छैन. तपाईहरु सब्स्क्राइब गर्नुभयो भने यस्तै टेक्स्ट बेस्ड भिडियोजहरु मैले अपलोड गरेको जानकारी तपाईहरुले प्राप्त गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ. धन्यवाद. नमस्कार.